Thank you for coming along, everybody. Great turnout today, which is fabulous. So I'm going to dive straight in. Today, we're talking about setting KPIs to truly drive your business. So, what are KPIs? Key performance indicators. They are the measurables that tell you how your business is performing. But they often focus on past performance because that's easy to measure and are hard-based facts. But we also need to look at what needs to change in order to change the results. So your traditional KPIs, things like turnover, gross profit, net profit, debtor days, average spend per client, number of clients, etc., etc. They're really easy to see, to measure. They're hard data. And we need different KPIs at different stages of the business. So when we're in startup phase of the business, we need to increase client numbers, we're increasing turnover, we're increasing the database, increasing our Facebook interaction, all of these things that we are looking to increase. But profitability may well be low at the startup phase. In fact, it can often be going backwards at the startup phase. But you need to be seeing an increase in all of those things to know whether or not you carry on banging your head against a brick wall, because if you're not seeing any increase in your client numbers, your turnover, your database, your Facebook interactions, and your profitability is still going backwards, is it actually worth carrying on? The next stage of the business is the consolidation phase. Your net profit should be increasing, your average spend per client should hopefully be increasing, and your client numbers will probably be stabilizing in this stage. And your turnover will probably stabilize roughly at this stage. And this is at the consolidation. So it's after the startup, we've got a business. Then you might be going to the research and development phase of the business. Your core figures start to stabilize, your GP and turnover is good, but your net profit might be down a bit because of investment in different things. But the KPIs should also focus on the success of your research and development projects. So if you're trying out new things, so for HR Toolkit, some of the R&D, one of the R&D projects that we did was we sold as an off-the-shelf product with warehouse stationery. Invested a lot in doing that, but actually it didn't work. So, it was really important to, that sounded like a fantastic concept, but for us, it didn't work. Interesting finding on that one was the reason it didn't work was people didn't trust warehouse stationery to deliver HR advice. They trusted HR Toolkit. So anyway, interesting thing on that one. Then you look into the established phase. Your profit to turnover ratio should hopefully be improving. Your client numbers should be growing steadily or be stable. And maybe you're wanting to start focusing on your EBITDA for your exit plan, so your earnings before income tax, depreciation, and assets. So, what are the learnings from this? Your KPIs need to grow and evolve with the business. You need to ensure you keep an eye on what is happening. But how do you actually drive the business forward? That's what we're talking about today. So, what needs to change the outcomes? So, your traditional KPIs tell you what's happened in the past. But if you put the same stuff in, you're going to get the same stuff out. So we need to consider the competencies which will change the outcome. So the competencies change what you're putting in, therefore you change what you're getting out. So what is it that we want to achieve? Well, higher turnover, higher profit, increased customer retention, exit plan, differentiate from competitors, get into new markets, galactic domination. Hey, for many, many, many years, that was my goal. Bar the Martian translation, hey, I was going for it. But for life got in the way and I decided I'd go for the easier life rather than galactic domination. So, how are we going to achieve the change? Um, if you want to increase your turnover, you might want to be focusing on your sales KPIs. So, what are the actions? And we'll talk a bit more about this shortly. What are the actions that need to, is it your sales? Why are you not getting sales? Are you getting a lot of client inquiries, but you're not converting them? Or are you not getting the client inquiries? So where is it that things are falling over? So the if your goal is increasing your turnover, have a look really closely at your sales chain. So if you're not getting enough stuff into the funnel at the beginning, then think about, how do I increase the inquiries? Do I need to go out and join TNG or BNI? Do I need to do Facebook advertising? Do I need to put up billboards? Try these things out. You might be tweaking things all over the place, and all of these things take time. So, just having managed social media, for example, won't instantly get you sales. It takes a long time, but it's part of getting more stuff more inquiries in the door. Are you converting them? Now, I've been in business for about a year. I was talking to lots of people about HR Toolkit, and everybody was like really loving it. And yeah, it's a fantastic product. And I wasn't getting the sales, I wasn't getting the conversions. And somebody turned round to me when I was sitting in a cafe meeting, and he said, "Well, the thing is, Lisa, I've just sat here for an hour. I really want to sign up, but you haven't asked me or told me how to." I wasn't asking for the sale. So that was just a very simple thing, but that immediately had a huge impact on my increasing my turnover. Increased spend per customer. So here you might be focusing on account management KPIs. So how are we servicing our customers? Are we drilling down into what they want? Are we identifying where we can get more out of them? Are we, if you're in a client and you see that, they've asked you to come in my case, review an employment agreement, but then you see that they don't have a drug and alcohol policy, but they need one. Hey, can I write your drug and alcohol policy for you? So being proactive on those sort of things. So you might be focusing on your account management KPIs. And increased customer loyalty. So that might be something that you want to achieve. That might be that you need to focus on your customer service KPIs. How are you servicing your customers? Are they feeling the love that they want to stay loyal to you? And how will you achieve change? So if exit plan is one of the things that you are looking at, then you are probably going to have a lot. So if you're wanting to exit yourself, sell the business, you need to automate things. Make sure that things are not overly reliant on you as the owner, and get as much automation happening within the business as you can. Or you might want to be having increased responsibility KPIs. So you're bringing those people underneath you up to take over from you. So you're making yourself redundant. But that can take quite a long time. If your goal is to differentiate from your competitors, what is your unique selling point, and how can you leverage that? And leveraging that in your marketing or whatever, thinking about what is your thing that's unique. And so I know that there's one person here who's feeling new in business, and she is the only person doing that particular thing in Northland. in this local area. So, that's a USP. So leverage it. To give you an example, excuse me, I've compared Bunnings and Mitre 10. Well, Bunnings is very much, we'll beat it by 10%. They focus very much on the cheapest prices. The staff are often quite young. The customer service is not really a big focus for them. They're going for cheap and cheerful. Whereas Mitre 10, will be with you every step of the way, very much the grey hair brigade, highly knowledgeable staff. They will refer you to a competitor if they can't provide the best solution. Their focus is hugely on customer loyalty, whereas Bunnings' focus is on turnover. So those are two, very brands. Bunnings certainly up here is, they have more of the grey brigade, and there is definitely more of a focus on customer service up here in the local area, but that's not my experience of every Bunnings, certainly. Mitre 10, consistently I do find that they have a huge customer loyalty focus. So how do we measure some of these competencies? Now, in the website, there is a document called in the document library, there is the assessment criteria matrix for assessing performance. Now, this is the tool that you then use to actually communicate. You might decide yourself, as the business owner or the manager, what it is that you want to achieve, what are your goals, but then how do you actually communicate this to the rest of your team to make sure that they are all on the same page? Now, the assessment criteria matrix for assessing performance has examples. There's about 25 different competencies that are detailed in that document. So you've got customer focus, you've got attitude, work ethic, and teamwork, all the way through to sales, account management, and new business development. So I'm just pulled up the customer focus one first. So how this matrix works is the 3 is the standard that you require. So meets the job requirements. So is competent and professional with customers, an able representative, courteous and knowledgeable, professional presentation, manages all but the most challenging customer situations. So that meets requirements. The 5 is the rock star. Relates to customers exceedingly well, has developed an incredibly loyal customer base, resourceful in finding solutions to problems, always delivers on promises, and all customers exceptionally happy with the service provided. The 1, the duffer, frequently impolite, condescends to customers, ignores customers, is disrespectful of customers, often fails to identify potential customers, often fails to follow through when new customers are identified, and often fails to meet the needs of the customers. Well, the person in the 1, has to be said, is probably going to be fired, particularly if they're in a reception job. But the how this works is that you tick the statements or highlight the statements that apply to this person. Because if you ask somebody rate yourself on 1 to 5, how good are you at customer service? Pretty much everybody's going to go 5. But you ask them to rank themselves on this matrix, is in actual fact, most employees will rank themselves lower than their managers. But how you rank it, how you do this, is you tick whichever statements apply. Now, you'll see that they go roughly horizontally as well. So it could be that they tick a 5, relates to customers exceedingly well, who they like, but then frequently impolite to customers who they don't like. So start treating Lisa the way you treat Nadia, and you'll be fine. but carry on dissing Lisa and you're going to be in trouble. So there you can give them the old praise sandwich, but then their score is where the ticks cluster. And this, you need to be justifying. If you're giving feedback to somebody, you need to justify why you've given them the score. But equally, if they say, oh, no, no, I should be scored a 5, it's like, well, they have to justify. Who are these customers who you relate to exceedingly well? Who are these incredibly loyal customers? So it can start a really good conversation about the drilling down into the detail about what is actually working or not working for you. Now, the assessment criteria matrix does give you pre-written, about 2025 pre-written competencies, but you can also build your own, and it's actually relatively simple. So you start with the 3 bullet points. So what defines meeting the job requirements? You have about half a dozen bullet points that say this is what being good looks like. The 4 is the sometimes going over and above. The 5 is frequently going over and above. 2 is sometimes underachieves. 1 is frequently underachieves. And there might be some specific examples that only hit 1 column. So, you wouldn't have frequently impolite or rude and condescending to customers as a sort of a criteria that hit anything apart from the 1 column. But there will be some things that are either non-negotiables that, do never do this, or always do this, that are specific to your business. And those are the things that either make people a real, like, no, this is not working, or yes, you are a rock star. So I'm just going to check in the chat. No, that's good. Don't have any questions there. So the next webinar is setting goals for 2026. And so that's on Thursday, the 28th, at 10 a.m. And so that's about, excuse me, well, setting goals for 2026. But following on from this, having had a look at this webinar and thinking, well, what is it that I need to do, and how can I now convert that measurement into my goals? And thank you for that. I'll just stop this stop the share. I go back to the screen because there is a question there. Where's the link to the online login? So I'm not sure what you mean with that one. Louise, I'll give you a call on that one. Oh, to the measurement matrix. I will flick it out to the attendees. I'll see if I can get it for you right now. Cool. Any other questions?
Nothing through on my end, Lisa. So good work, everyone, for coming along. And thanks, Lisa, for an excellent presentation, as you always do. There's always plenty of insight and lots to be learnt from these. So I look forward to the follow-up next month. And then I'll have to go and buy Christmas presents because it's getting close. Too close.
Yep.
Anyway, have a great weekend, everybody. And thanks for coming along. Thanks for being part of the webinar. And as always, it has been recorded, so you can catch it later. And yeah, very, very good, everybody. Take care of yourself, Lisa, and everybody else.
Cool.
See you next month.
Thank you. See you later.
See you guys.
Bye.